The following broadcast may contain explicit language and adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised. The opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the hosts, talent, and guests, and do not reflect the opinions, views, and standards of Pyro Media Enterprises, affiliates, subsidiaries, or its members.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to She Is Shenomenal. I am your host, Tasha Champion, the Shenomenal coach of champion empowerment. Always teaching you to love that beautiful champion you already are. And I am excited. Hey, Sherelle. Hey, Teresa. We already got people joining in. Hey, Camille, Talicia. Oh, y'all, I'm excited. Thank you for joining. I'm really excited today because I am chatting with the incomparable, the Shenomenal queen of the high desert, the classiest, the elegant, the coolest. Like, this woman is everything just wrapped up into one, Miss Regina Weatherspoon Bell, and you guys are going to meet her shortly. And today we are really talking about, like, 40 ain't old. You know, I have children who think when you turn 40, hell, they thought when I turned 30, I had one foot in the grave. But like for us as women, even for men too, we need to really understand that age is a beautiful thing. And how do we embrace age, especially when there are life changes that are happening? So we're going to talk about that today. I'm really excited. Before we get into all that, y'all, even my Shenomenal moment, which is coming up in just a second. Hi, Angelina. Is going to be about being in our 40s. So it's great. Hi, Aaron. Thank you for joining. I wanted to share with you guys just, you know, the brunch is a month away. The brunch is completely sold out. But as always, I just want to pause for a moment and give some love and some shout outs. Like, first of all, thank you to everyone that purchased a ticket. It means so much to me, my team, my speakers. Hey, Grayson. So this is going to be an amazing brunch. The power in wearing your crown is the theme. So I want to shout out Pyro Media Network. I want to shout out Luxe and Noir Luxury Candles. You guys got to get your Luxe and Noir candle. So go to luxeandnoir.com because those candles are exquisite. Shout out to TNT Photo Booth. Shout out to Love Premier Catering and Events. Celebrations Captured. And I want to also shout out, I hope I'm not missing anybody. If I do, I promise I'll get it back on track. But I also want to welcome my newest sponsor, Chapter 38 Wines. Like, I love this female Black-owned wine company, and it is the first wine infused with THC and CBD, different bottles, as well as regular wines. But these wines are so incredibly delicious. So hey, Cupcake. So I'm really excited that they have joined as a sponsor of the third annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch. Hey, sister. Hey, Tish. Please tell that to my niece. They are 40. You're hilarious. Please go to Chapter 38 Wine. Learn all about their wines, their memberships. The wines, I'm telling you guys, you will inhale them. They are so delicious. So I'm really excited for all of the sponsors. If you want a spot as a sponsor, by all means, reach out to me, tasha@shenomenal.com. We have a little over 100 people that are ready to see your company and learn about what it is that you do. And I love making connections all over. So this is a great opportunity. All right. So that's it, because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. So I want to get into the Shenomenal moment, because when I saw this video and she was specifically referencing women over 40, I was like, that's it. That is the Shenomenal moment. But I want you guys to really listen to what she is saying, because this is something that we all need to know. And for those that have young daughters, even though she's referencing being over 40, play this for your young daughters. So let's go ahead and check out this Shenomenal moment video.
To the women over 40 like me, here are the 4 ugly things we need to stop wearing immediately. Number 1, stop wearing other people's insecurities. You might put on an outfit and hear people say, oh, I could never wear that, or women our age shouldn't wear that. Correction, women our age are grown, therefore we wear what we want. And trust me, if they had the confidence to wear what they want and step out of the house in it like you did, then they would. While they project insecurities, you project your personal style. Number 2, stop wearing your assumptions. If you are telling yourself, I could never wear that, or that would never look good on me, then yes, you are wearing your assumptions. Trying on different things helps you discover what you love wearing and helps to develop your personal style. And as you develop your personal style, you'll make better fashion choices. Number 3, stop wearing people's validations. If you're putting something on just because you're seeking compliments, then you might as well not even put it on. The only compliment you need is from that person in the mirror telling you how good you look. It goes a little something like this. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest? Never mind, I already know. And number 4, stop wearing other people's opinions. One day someone may say you're showing too much skin, and the next day someone may say you're covered up like a nun. Imagine making every decision based upon other people's opinions. People pleasing is unstylish and fear is not a good fit. Everyone won't understand your fashion choices, which is great because that means you're different.
Like, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear what she said? Did you hear the 4 things you need to stop wearing? Like, take that in, really take that in. Let your younger daughters watch that and let them just really develop their own sense of style and personality and character so that they are not bothered by what other people are saying. Because one thing you learn when you are in your 40s, you don't really care what other people say. And that's the beautiful thing. All right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break because I cannot wait to have my beautiful Shenomenal co-author, Miss Regina Weatherspoon Bell. She is here tonight live on She is Shenomenal. So stick right here and we'll be right back with our incredible interview with the beautiful Miss Regina.
This episode is sponsored in part by Bullet and Flight Radio. Get ready to uplift your spirit with Bullet and Flight Radio, the world's leading progressive Christian radio station. Experience the vibrant fusion of gospel house music and a rich medley of inspiration from all musical genres that'll make your heart soar. Join their extraordinary lineup of today's trailblazers, visionaries, and voices that matter, all sharing their stories and wisdom. Stay plugged in around the clock as they broadcast unmissable content 24/7. Your go-to station for all things inspiring. Become a pilot today by visiting bulletandflightradio.com. Bullet and Flight Radio. Your story, our station.
Hello and welcome back. Before I bring in my beautiful guest today, I want to read a little bit of her chapter from Shenomenal Women, Amazon's #1 best-selling book, by the way, because this you'll understand more of why it was so important to specifically have her for this topic. She says, I knew at 40 years old that my life wasn't over and that I had good work to accomplish and visions to turn into my reality. So, having to leave an industry I loved and worked in for almost 20 years and reinvent myself without a college degree was daunting. There were many who took the opportunity to try and make me feel small because I did not have a college degree. What do you think you can do? Many of them asked. I was a 40-year-old Black woman with no degree, a husband, a son, a mortgage, and a car note. The questions continued. What are you going to do? Who's going to hire you? I knew that if I didn't face my fears and place my trust in a God who had given me everything I needed to move forward in purpose and power, I would never know the extent of my powerful mind and spirit. Incredible. All right, let's bring in the beautiful Miss Regina. Hello, Miss Regina.
Hello, Miss Tasha. I'm so excited, and thank you for all of the wonderful and kind words that you've bestowed on me up until this point.
Of
And it
course.
reminds me of something my son often says, which is like you putting 100 on 10, but I'm going to take all of it today,
Right.
right?
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should. But thank you so much for I could spend the entire hour giving you thanks because you are a dear friend, you are a mentor, you are a pillar in this high desert community, you are a co-author of Shenomenal Women. You're just a little bit of everything wrapped into this powerful woman.
Hmm.
And also for those who don't know, she's also my queen of ceremonies at the Shenomenal Women's Brunch. So like you guys are going to love her. She's just absolutely amazing. Amazing. So check her out on July 8th. Regina, before we just dive into this conversation about really owning who you are at 40, because 40 ain't old, right?
Right.
Tell us, just give us a little bit about who you are so that people can understand.
I think, because that's a very broad question. Um, and so I am many things, right? I used to believe, that from an ethnicity standpoint, we are, so I'm a black, obviously, I'm an African American black woman, right? But I am many things. I mean, I am um, a daughter. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm an aunt, I'm all of those things. I'm also a business owner. I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization. I often think of myself also as an advocate, and in some arenas and areas, I'm an activist, right? And so, what one of the things I've learned, Tasha, to define myself in terms of, especially specific to age, is that there are no limitations on what I am. I'm whatever I need to be in that moment at that time that is best going to
Yes.
serve myself and those who I love, those who I'm in contact with, those who I'm connected with. And so, with that, it's very liberating and it's very freeing because I've moved away from having to necessarily label and identify myself um,
Right.
as one thing or the other, or, I'm in this genre or another. So, that's really kind of how I look at myself. And I am all of those things and hard to believe, but sometimes I'm and all of those things it seems like at once.
Yes, absolutely. I've been able to witness that. So Yes. Well, one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this show specifically with you is because you did talk about the changes that occurred when you turned 40. And I just read a little bit from that chapter because I feel like 40 is that age where you kind of begin to break free. Because in your 20s, first of all, in your teens, especially around 17, 18, you think you know everything, right? And in your 20s, you spend so much of that time trying to figure out everything you think you know. And then in your 30s, you realize you didn't know crap. And you're learning it more in your 30s. And then when you get to your 40s, you're kind of settling into who you are, acknowledging it, owning it, loving it. And then for some, it's a redefining moment in their life where it's like, okay, I am 40. How do I discover myself? What do I need to do to find out my purpose, my passions? Like, where am I going in life? There's a lot of that when you hit into that 40-year bracket. But for you specifically, what was that for you? Like, how did you become reassured in what you could do in your 40s, recognizing so many people had said many negative things to you? How did you really overcome that and say, 40 is not the end, it can be the beginning?
Right. I think, to really be honest, I go back to something devastating that happened to me when I was 12. And that was my mother passed, right?
Come a little bit closer to your mic.
And so at 12 years old, I had to really, and I don't think I was so conscious of this, but this is what actually took place, is that I had to make a decision of who I was going to be, right? Because I'm either going to be that 12-year-old girl who, everybody looks at with that, look of pity and, oh, and I also had the experience of at that time, believe it or not, there were grown adult women who said who I was going to be because of this thing that happened to me that I had no control over, right? And so there was something in me, and I really attribute this to my mother. My mother put something in me that told me I was always more than, and I could be and do whatever it was that I imagined, right? And so somehow I kept tapping into that, not knowing, because I'm 12, so I don't know. I'm just trying to, get from day to day, get to school and back, do homework, those things. But that was in me, and that was embedded and rooted in me. And I believe ultimately it was who God purposed me to be because of all of these things that I was going to experience as I went through life. And so when I got to be 40, I had gone through some stuff, and I don't try to put 100 on 10. There are other people who have gone through some really traumatic, life-altering situations, that when I look in comparison to what I went through, I said, well, God, thank you. Favor was on me. But
Right.
I went through some stuff nonetheless, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at every turn, it challenged the core of who I was purposed to be. And so when I got to be 40, everything did change, and even my goals and objectives that I had set for myself started to change. And so I decided I got to really spend some time with me and
Yes.
God and find out what is truly my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started to question myself, that's how I started to move into my skin and that comfort zone. And this is what you're meant to be. And also being able to turn off the noise, because there were all these negative things that were being said,
Right.
and everybody wasn't as kind as what you have been today about the body of work I had created at 40.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a body of work at that time, but everybody wasn't as kind as much as they might have been critical, right? But there was just that thing, and I call that thing in me, which I ultimately now know it was the God in me, and it was the God that had been in my mother that she then transferred to me,
Yes.
right? That had kept me going all this while. So even I like to believe that even if I really didn't want to, I really didn't have a choice. The course was set.
Right. And I think a lot of us experience that where we don't have a choice. And if we don't have that background of someone pouring into us, or we don't have that spiritual connection, we become a little more lost in, well, what do I do? How do I do it? Who do I turn to? And then there's sometimes the shame
Yes.
of, you know, I don't know this at 40, or I've never experienced this at 40. So was there some shame or
Yeah.
embarrassment in your life, and how did you really work through that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I was on a course to where my ultimate goal was I was going to be a record exec. And that was
Mm-hmm.
my ultimate goal. And I was clearly on that path. Right. And reality hit, and that was not the path. Not because I wasn't capable. And that's something that I had to constantly remind myself. It wasn't
Right.
that I wasn't capable, it was that that was not my destiny. That was not my purpose. That was not
Pause for a
who I
second,
was
because I
supposed
want,
to be.
I don't mean to cut you off. I just want everybody to really grasp what you said. Like, it wasn't that it wasn't impossible or anything. It's just that wasn't your path. And
That was not
sometimes
my
we're so caught up in moving away from things, or things being removed from our lives, things coming to
right.
completion, and we hold to the fact that, oh my God, I'm never going to be, I'm never going to do, I'm never going to have, versus understanding it's a different path at this point.
Or something that you alluded to earlier, playing into those expectations that have been placed on us and the embarrassment that comes with because I didn't rise to somebody else's expectation, right?
Right.
And so that's one of the things that happens, I think, squarely when you come into your 40s. The expectation is nobody else. It's what I expect of myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what I put on myself. It's not about anybody else. And so that in that becomes the strength that you need, the mindset that you need, the awareness that you need. It might be time to clean the closet. And what I call cleaning the closet is, you take stock and inventory of who you have in your life, the things
Yes.
that are feeding you, the things that you may think are nurturing you, and they're doing contradictory to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So having that time for me at 40 really made me look at some things. There were some people who I needed to shed myself of. There were some thoughts that no longer fit. There were some things that I was responsible for feeding myself that I had to make a decision. I'm breaking through that because it's no longer good. So, yes, I've set goals and objectives for myself, and I feel like a failure in some areas. But what am I going to do with that? That's for me, it was in my 40s when I really took hold of, because something is not successful in the way that I saw it or wanted it to be, does not mean it was not successful in the lesson that I was
Ooh,
supposed to learn,
I love that.
right?
Absolutely. I love that.
And so then my thought process became, what is the lesson I'm supposed to learn? How am I supposed to be made better because of this? See,
Mm-hmm.
and so anything that negative was coming in my way, I was looking at it as though, okay, that's happening for a reason, but that's not happening for what may be um, looked at as the obvious reason. That's happening for a reason for me to do some work on me, to be prepared for something that's coming my way. Because the one thing that I knew for sure, I'm a child of God. God don't make no junk,
First,
no
right.
mess, no any of that. He squarely had a purpose for me being here in this world, in this life, at this time. Now, let me step fully into that. So let me be about the work that helps me to move into that. And I will tell you that it wasn't until probably about my mid 40s that I really found out and accepted what my purpose was. And once
Beautiful.
I really accepted it, right, that move into that was so sweet, so smooth,
Do
right?
you feel like it just cleared the path? And let me just make sure y'all heard her when she said, "God don't make no junk." Like, I just want to make sure y'all caught that and y'all
Right.
heard it and that y'all felt it in your whole soul, like I did. But do you feel like when you had that awakening, like in your mid 40s, did it just kind of clear the murkiness, the fog? Did it just clear the path for you to fully step into Regina?
Yes. And it gave me strength, and it was my motivation, it was inspiration, it was all of those things that I needed to move um, squarely, confidently into who I was to be. Language, my language started to change, right? Um, and just all of those other things too. Like I said, things that were not serving me well at this point in time in my life. But I will tell you that one of the things that really happened was there was there was the strength and ability to be fearless, because prior to that I was playing it safe, and I thought playing it safe was I'm doing all these steps, I'm taking all these steps, I'm reading these books, and I'm listening to others who have gone before, and and how they did it and how it worked out for them. And then here's the one guru who says this is the way that you should be, these are the 7 habits of effective leaders, right? And okay,
Right.
maybe so, right? But those are their 7. Are those my 7? And it
That
allowed
part.
me to move into who I was as Regina and define me for me with a strength that it didn't allow me to self-doubt a lot as I had
Yeah.
before, right? And I didn't spend a lot of time there. Did I question? Yes, right? But I didn't spend a whole lot of time, like, maybe before I would call you up and say, hey, Tasha, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Okay, that's what Tasha said. Okay, so I'm going to call Dolores and ask Dolores, what does she think? And so what do you think? And then I'm going to go and I'm going to ask my big mama, what do you think? Has God told you anything? It just gave me a strength to say, look, it's me and you, God. And so I
And this
know
is
when
what I
I'm
want to do.
with you, that's what I need to move on, right? And I'm going to have
Yes. And I've been
confidence
witnessing that. I've
to
I've
do that.
witnessed that in you so many times. Like you will have an idea, and I swear it's like magic. It's like poof, here goes everything that Regina wanted to do. Here goes everything that Regina is bringing into fruition. And she, one of the things that I love about you from the time that I met you is you've really surrounded yourself by an incredible circle. And I heard you say earlier that as you were coming into your own, you were having to let go of
Yeah.
some people.
Yes.
So talk about that for a minute, because when you don't let go, you also don't make room
Yes.
for the people that need to be in your life. And I feel like sometimes so many of us, we're holding on to the loyalty of someone. Well, we've been friends for this long, or, because this is family, but really that person isn't serving you in your life where you are right now, which means that their time has been completed in your life. But just kind of touch on that a little bit of letting go to make room for what is meant to be in your life in that beautiful 40
Yeah,
decade.
I mean, I think, it sounds cliche, and I know we've heard it a lot, but, there's truth in that. Some people come into your life for a season, and some people are in your life for a lifetime. And, the thing about that is for us to learn and recognize who's who, right?
Hmm.
And then also, I go back to the analogy of cleaning out your closet, right? We have things in our closet. Some of those things came with us from when we were in our 20s, right?
Hmm.
And for some reason, we're attached to those, so we still hold on, can't really, pack it up and give it away, right? But
Right.
what I found was without that purging and being able to let things go, we don't open up the door to receive more, right? It's like
Hmm.
being a blessing. It is hugely important for us to be a blessing to others, because as we
Right.
are a blessing to others, somebody's going to come and bless us,
Bless us
right?
more. Yes.
Yeah. And so understanding how that works, right? And so for me, it was just, you know what? I got to really look at things, be very honest. I'm an individual who's very, very honest, and I'm most honest with myself, right? And
Hmm.
so, sometimes you're holding on to something because it feels safe and secure. It's all I know.
We've
Or
all been there.
all I know at this point. Fear, because if I
Mhm.
don't have that, then what do I have? So it's better for me to have that. At least I know I got that than to face the what if, what can
The
be.
unknown.
Right?
Exactly.
And so to free yourself, and that's what I'm saying. In my 40s, I found that freedom to be fearless, right?
Ooh.
So yes, I think you alluded to there's this magic about what I do. There's really no magic. It's just I remove myself from being fearful. So if I said, I have this idea for a documentary, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a filmmaker, didn't go to school, none of that. But I had an idea, and I knew that this idea was something that people could grab a hold to and was in some way necessary. It was necessary for me to get it out. That's why it had been given to me. And so
Right.
when I turned 50, I actually did a documentary called Women Over 50. And I interviewed
Which was
21,
beautiful.
21 women that talked about being 50 plus, and they ranged in age from 50 to 83 at the time. And just around two questions: best lesson ever learned, best lesson ever taught. That was it. Right. And what came out of that was really a documentary. Tasha, I had no idea. I didn't go to school for it. Really not my thing. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to memorialize those lessons that those women, that wisdom,
Yes.
right? And I also had a son who told me at the time that I was old.
Takes our children. It always takes our kids.
And
Yes.
I was hearing at the time that women who were 50, we were kind of like disposable, and we were kind of, being put out to pasture, so to speak. And I was like, these are not the women that I know. These are not the women who I see every day or in my circle, right? And
Right.
so we got something to say, right? And I don't want to be, just because there's a number, I don't have anything to contribute of value, right? And so now I need to go and find a corner and just kind of be quiet. No, I didn't feel that at all. So anyway, long story short, that was one of the things that I did, and it was that fearlessness that had been growing in me and being cultivated in me in my mid 40s that gave me
That power and strength
to say, hey, I'm going to do this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it. We'll figure it out. I know a lot of people. I'm going to talk to somebody. Somebody's going to help me to figure out how to get this done. And guess what? Collectively, as a community, we got it done.
Yes, beautiful. I love that. And Women Over 50 was a beautiful documentary. I was in my kind of mid to late 30s at that time. And so it gave me a lot. It teaches us that we need to remember to sit at the foot of wisdom, learn from the women who have already been where we're trying to get to, right? So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, Regina, I want to talk about what are those gems and jewels and key points that you need as you start to evolve in life in your 40s? What are those nuggets that women need to just kind of keep in their pocket to remind them of maybe their greatness? So I want to talk about that a little bit more. And then we're going to just really talk about the power that you've been able to extend to other women in your 40s and beyond, because you've done so much in the community, and what that looks like in that togetherness. Because I think younger girls need to know, like, listen, there's some beauty in aging. There's some beauty in these friendships that we maintain and hold. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to talk about that. So stay right here, guys. We'll be right back. right, we are back, and I am talking with the incomparable, the beautiful Miss Regina Weatherspoon Bell. I mean, I adore you, so I have to continue to remind people, like,
Beautiful.
there is no one like Regina, not in the high desert, not even in California, not in the world. Like, she's just one of a kind. Um, so, we're in this beautifulness of talking about reinventing yourself and understanding that, look, 40 ain't old, 50 ain't old, nothing is old unless you decide that it's old, right? But Regina, what are some, I'm going to call them Shenomenal gems, Shenomenal jewels, that Grayson says, I don't remember calling you old, but I apologize, Mom, I was 14. Grayson, you may not remember, but I have boys, I have children, so I know that all kids do that.
Yeah.
But Regina, what are some of those like phenomenal gems and jewels that not only you live by, but you want to share? You want women over 40 to know what?
Well, I'm gonna lead with this. I think I want women, young girls, right, to know that you are what you feed your mind, body, and spirit. Point blank. Period. Right. And for women that are 40 plus, one of the things that I really, and Tasha, I will share this with your audience, is health, particularly health for Black women, right? Because sometimes that seems like it's a mystery to navigate, to learn, to get information in a world where information is just a keystroke away, right? You know, and we have access to way more information than ever before, right? But how it really applies to us, and so health, and not just physical health, but mental, emotional, spiritual health is key, right? And that the one thing that I think is a gem for me is that I continue to remind myself I am what I feed myself, mind, body, and spirit,
Yes.
right? Um, I think it's important for us to value ourselves enough that we value our time and how we spend our time. Because quite often, even into your 40s, um, saying no or setting boundaries or limits sometimes becomes a challenge, right? Especially when we are in that mode of being moms and wives and just multitasking and wearing all of these different hats, and also trying to really discover and squarely be rooted in our purpose, right? And so I'll do a little bit here, I'll do a little bit there. Somebody tells you you're really talented in one area or another, and so okay, I feel obligated almost to go and help do this, that, and a third. And I think one of the things, particularly for us as women, but definitely as we age, is to know that it is okay and it is often necessary to set boundaries and to put value on your time, right?
Yes. Oh,
By
I love
that,
that.
I mean, look at your time as currency. So, what is my time worth? Right? And so, am I going to spend my time talking with you for the 300th time about a boyfriend that you and I both know you should have left? Or am I going to say, girl, when you have had enough, you will make a move? I love you. I got to go. Am I going to do that? Right. I mean, that's just the reality of it. How am I going to spend my time? And once you start to value your time, then other folks start to value your time as well. Right.
Regina, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead and finish that.
And I just wanted to say, I think for us as women, because we have a tendency, we're caregivers. We just run the gamut. And that's just all in one day, right? I think it is inherently important for us to put a value on our time and to set barriers or boundaries. Let me say that. Boundaries. Yeah.
Boundaries. Absolutely. And you also have to respect your boundaries, which will make people respect them as well. Regina, what I want to talk about now, before we even get into, hi, Marcia, thanks for joining. What I want to talk about right now
Sure.
before we get into just kind of having your circle and allowing women to shine with you, can you share with people what you've accomplished, what you have started and accomplished over 40? Because I really want people to understand that age has nothing to do with what you want to do. If you want to do it, you just got to get up and decide this is what you want for yourself. And when we look at, there's so many people that started and grew careers over 40, and I want people to understand they can do the same. So share some of your accomplishments specifically over the age of 40.
Yeah. So let me just start out by saying this. I just recently went and just was so richly blessed by being able to see Tina, the play, right, on Tina Turner's life. I just saw that last week. And one of the things that really impacted me was the richness of her life after she had turned 40, right? And
Mm,
how she had been discredited and almost set aside, right? But it was something in her that said, I'm not out yet, right? And so for me, everything, you know, I didn't have my son until I was 36. So my best
mm-hmm.
work, my greatest work to date, which is my son, I
Right.
did the bulk of that work in my 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started a business at 40. I started a nonprofit at 40, right? Um, After 40, I did the documentaries. I've now done 2 documentaries to my credit, right? Uh, I've worked uh, in various arenas after 40. And I will tell you this, Tasha, what I found was that I was really well prepared to do the work and be successful at it because I was in my 40s, because I had a temperament, I had a mindset, I spiritually was really solid, right? And all of those things had an impact on me being able to not just start these things, but finish them
Finish.
and to
Yes.
also do them well on my terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think, life really did not start for me until I was after 40 because I really started unpacking and finding out what I was made of. And I started,
Yes.
to learn that, we limit ourselves once again by putting these labels on ourselves, right? Because I'm 40, so I'm not supposed to, which was said to me, you 40, you out the game, right?
Right.
It was just the beginning. It was just the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. But the game that I was in, it wasn't until I was 40 that I was well prepared to not only play the game, but win,
Oh,
right?
I love that. She said not only play the game, but win.
Right.
Yes, I love
And
that.
that was my mindset, right? Because life is a game, right? And
Mm-hmm.
how we come prepared to play has everything to do with our success, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that for me, yeah, I mean there have been so many things that I've been blessed and privileged to do. But I do honestly think that my best works came over 40, but
Over 40.
I was best prepared for those things to happen, right?
Yeah.
I don't say that in that by no stretch of the imagination am I saying that everybody has to wait until they're 40 and that happens. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that, yeah, if you can get it before that, get it. Do it to the
Mm-hmm.
fullest, but don't be hindered or change yourself because of an age,
Right.
right? Because the truth is, we're sitting here having this conversation about 40, and last week I turned 65.
Woo, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yes.
Oh, hail to the queen.
Right?
Yes, I
Thank
love
you.
it.
And so my point is 40, I gotta think back a little ways to remember some of the stuff, right? But my point is, even at 65, I am not putting limitations on myself as to what I can do, what I should be doing, how
Absolutely.
it should look. My biggest concern is how it feels, right? And if it
Yes.
feels good for me and my spirit, then that's what I'm going to do,
I
right?
love it. I absolutely love it. Regina, what does it look like to, how do I want to phrase this? To share the spotlight amongst your friends, because a lot of the younger generation, they are in competition of the spotlight. But as we mature and become more wise, and we have these beautiful friendships and connections, how do you share the spotlight with your friends? How do you pass the torch so everybody has that opportunity to shine?
Oh, you know what, Tasha, for me, I think I don't know anything different. So I can't really speak to anything different because I've kind of always been that way, right? I've never been one to just feel like there's only space for me and this is my space. What fun is it to not be able to share that, right? And so for me,
Right.
the way that I'm wired and the way that I'm built, my greatest joy actually comes from, and thank you, Priscilla. Um, my greatest joy actually comes from opportunities like what you gave and presented to be a part of Shenomenal and the Shenomenal movement. You did that, right? Um,
Thank you.
I'm a part of it, and I don't take down or cower back from being a part of it. But it really is, for me, my joy comes from seeing you shine because that was yours, right? And what you brought together was this amazing group of extraordinary women, right? Whose voices now have a place in history, the legacy of their lives, and what they have not only gone through, but how they have come through it,
Right.
right? Victorious is now memorialized. You did that, Tasha. And all of those
Thank you.
women that are part of that, I celebrate them, right? That's my joy. My joy is seeing, if somebody says, "Hey, I want to open up a cupcake business," my joy is seeing that happen. So, how can I help make that happen for you? Right? Because I'm assuming there's a free cupcake in there for me if I can help you, right? You know what I'm saying? But really, it really is my joy, is what drives me. I love it. I love to see women coming into their own. I love to see us owning who we are. I love to see us being bold enough and fearless enough to set our own terms and not be
Mhm.
defined by somebody else or some outside institutions or that. I love that. So for me, my joy is really not so much for myself because I'm really comfortable with that. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm
Right.
functioning in my purpose. But my joy really comes from celebrating my sisters and women who are doing things, who are making a difference, who are living their dream, who are bold, right? In their statements of this is who I am. And I don't have to take down because it might not feel comfortable for you. I'm not trying
Right.
to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to take anything away from you, right? But it's almost that analogy of don't dim your light for somebody else,
Right.
right? Help
And don't
them,
dim theirs to make yourself brighter.
right? Help them turn the
Mhm.
shine up on theirs, right?
Yes.
Let's do that. And I've always felt that there was enough room at the table, that there was enough, uh, there's enough pie for everybody to get a slice. I've always felt that. I always believe that the blessings come because of the ability to have something of value to give, right?
Right.
Um, so for me, yeah, I just have a tremendous joy um, of celebrating women, of encouraging women, of trying to motivate women. That for me, young girls, as I said, at this point in stage in the game of my age, what is my legacy, right? I want my nieces, because I don't have any daughters per se, but I got goddaughters. I want my
Right.
goddaughters, my nieces, I want them. to pick up the torch and move forward and do better and be bolder and be more, right?
Right.
And I hope
Absolutely.
somewhere in that, you know, they will say, my aunt inspired me, right?
So because we're wrapping up and this hour just of course blew by. It always does when it's such a great conversation. Regina, spend about 60 seconds or so speaking to that 20-year-old, that 30-year-old. Give them the wisdom of 40-year-old Regina, 50-year-old Regina, 65-year-old Regina. Give them that wisdom, because right now they can't see it, or either if they see it, they think it's so far away. So about 60 seconds, give them that Regina Bell wisdom.
Oh my God, Tasha, that's huge. Um, Let me just say this, 20, 30 years old. What I say is spend the time enjoying getting to know and enjoying who you are, right? And setting some goals for yourself, right? Not defined by anybody else's expectations, but by you and what you believe to be your purpose. And go for it, right? And do not put any limitations on yourself. Don't have anybody put limitations on you, and definitely don't self-impose any limitations on yourself. And it, again, I go back to, it is incredibly important who you surround yourself with and what you feed your mind, body, and spirit, right? And then just be fearless. Be fearless in what it is you believe you are purposed to do
To
and where
do,
you can
yes.
find your glory.
I hope you guys have really learned, and I know a lot of people that are watching and commenting in the chat are already over 40. So if that's the case, I hope you realize that it's the same thing for 50 and 60. Like, just own and celebrate who you are right now. Let
Yes.
things fall into your lap. Embrace the fearlessness in you and take action on your fears, right? And for those that are under 40, sit at the foot of wisdom. Learn from those
Yeah.
who are where you want to be and where you're going. It's really, really a beautiful, beautiful life. Like, I have really embraced it. I love it. I know so much about myself now than I ever did in my 20s and 30s. And I spent that time being a mom. I mean, obviously I'm still a mom, but so much of that was being their mom and not recognizing who I was without the title of mom, right? So Regina, tell people how they can connect with you, follow you, socialize with you. Like, how can people reach out to all things Regina?
Yeah, so we have a website. It is dvlproject.com. Anybody can go to that website. There is an About Me tab. Click on that. Send me an email. Shoot me an email. I'm happy to respond. If you know Tasha, then you know me, so Tasha can get to me. But that is probably the best way. Tasha, I really want to say this. I want to thank you for what you're doing, because what you're doing is you're helping to heal a lot of souls and a lot of spirits, right? And it is huge work. It is necessary work, right? And it needs to come from somebody who looks just like you,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And so I am just honored that you gave me this time, and I'm honored for everybody who's out there listening. That maybe I'm very hopeful that there was something, maybe just one something that was said that was of value to you. You know, I think it is a high honor when somebody feels that we have something of quality and of value to share. And so I am honored tonight to be sitting in that place, but I am immensely grateful to you. And I can't wait to see uh, where all of this as a Shenomenal movement is going to
Yes.
lead. But I know that you are changing lives, in a very, very positive way. And anytime you have the blessing to do that, that is huge. It's huge. It's necessary. It's very needed, and it is really a gift from God. So I want to thank you, and I also want to thank all of those extraordinary, exquisite women who are part of the Shenomenal book for the opportunity to be amongst you. Again, that's an honor for me, and I couldn't feel more blessed to be a part of that community and have
Yes,
that sisterhood and that connection. And I don't take that lightly, right? So thank you for
thank
this evening.
you.
This has been just a wonderful time spent.
Yes. As always, I mean, again, if you guys know Regina, and many people in the comments do, then you already knew what to expect because you're always going to get her grace class, her wisdom, and just the beauty of who she is, which has been beautiful. Kwame says, thank you both. You all have blessed me today. Priscilla, hi, mommy, says, this has been a great show, very encouraging. Audrey says, thank you, Regina. Angelina says, thank you. Truly amazing words. Grayson says, amen. Been a lot of just beautiful nuggets dropped, and I love it. And I'm so grateful. Thank you all for joining. Don't forget, you can see Regina at the third annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch. She
Yes,
is I don't call her an MC, I call her a queen of ceremonies, because she is just so fantastic. So I will see you guys there, and I will see all of you next week. I'm really excited. We're going to talk all things real estate with the LA homegirl herself, Kenya Reeves Costa. She will be here, a Shenomenal real estate agent she is, and I can't wait for you guys to meet her. If you have real estate questions, then you want to join us live to get those questions answered. And to everybody else, be beautiful, be bold, be fierce, be Shenomenal, and tell another woman she's Shenomenal too. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Pyro Media Network's YouTube channel for more awesome content. Plus, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live or upload new videos. Visit pyromedianetwork.com today, not just to check out our incredible roster of talented creatives, but also to gain access to exclusive bonus material available only to our Pyro fam. Show your support for this Black-owned indie network by donating today. Help us keep igniting brands everywhere.